is Win News.
Tonight, a Dapto teen accused of pulling a knife on a neighbour. Frustration is rising over housing plans at the old Coalcliff Coke Works, and how to deal with a noisy neighbourhood pet. Good evening, I'm Amy Duggan. Also tonight, South Coast dairy farmers struggle to survive in the tough industry 12 months on from Farmgate milk price slashes by Murray Goulburn. A Dapto teen who allegedly held a hunting knife to a man's throat in a bid to steal his drugs has been released on bail. Kyle Roberts refutes the claims, which carry a lengthy jail term.
Police flocked to this Compton Street home to arrest 18-year-old Kyle Roberts. It's alleged the teen stormed into this nearby Gulligal Street home just after 1:30 yesterday afternoon, pulled out a large hunting knife and held it to the occupant's throat, threatening to kill him if he didn't hand over his money. Police say he then proceeded to steal a backpack containing more than 500 grams of cannabis worth up to $3.5 grand before making off on an unregistered and uninsured trail bike while allegedly disqualified. He was later arrested and charged with aggravated break and enter and committing an indictable offence. Allegations he denied in court today when making his bail application. He was released on strict conditions to live with his mother, his family also forfeiting $500 to get him out of prison. He'll be back before the magistrate in August. In the meantime, investigations are continuing into the origins of the illegal drugs. Kimberly Pratt, Win News.
A West Wollongong man arrested by the Joint Counter-Terrorism Team for purporting extremist views online has been sentenced to a 2-year good behaviour bond. Peter Calantis says he's never been aligned with a terrorist organisation and has vowed not to use social media again.
Peter Calantis had no prior criminal record, but quickly became the subject of an Australian Federal Police investigation in April after making some alarming statements on Facebook, including threatening to hunt down Australian security spies with an AK-47, as well as attacking Australian cultural celebrations and praying for the country to be destroyed. He was also found to have Islamic State propaganda in his West Wollongong home.
You know, he's a collector of these items. It's strange that he should be a collector of these items, but by all means he had no intention of putting into practice what he may have said.
The 37-year-old was arrested and charged with using a carriage service to purport radical views. However, his lawyer argued he wasn't thinking straight.
Certainly Mr Calantis is not an extremist, but he's one of these people that has done something wrong. He's pleaded guilty, of course, for the offence.
Magistrate Abdul Karim said he wasn't convinced the accused was motivated by extremist ideology and sentenced him to a 2-year good behaviour bond. Outside of court, Mr Calantis told Win News he's given up social media and will never do something like this again.
I made a mistake and it shouldn't have been done. I don't plan to do it again because I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Kimberly Pratt, Win News.
Illawarra Coke has confirmed there'll be no more than 30% of housing in its plans to rezone the old Coalcliff Coke Works. The assurance comes as the Coalcliff community ups its campaign against the development, adopting a 5-point attack.
The noise is gaining volume in Coalcliff. This time it's being heard elsewhere. The Coalcliff Community Association resolved to submit a 5-point letter to Wollongong City Council and the Department of Planning following its AGM last night. It wants the community to play a key role in all discussions impacting the land.
It doesn't impact our plans, but we're very sensitive and to the concerns of the Coalcliff residents.
There's no formal development application before council just yet, but Illawarra Coke has detailed the amount of land it intends to use for housing, tourism or community facilities for the first time. Of the area to be rezoned, less than 30% is being considered for development. However, residents say it's still too much.
We could fit these houses in that RU1 approximately 6 times. That could be a real issue.
We've put out this clarification, I guess, to reassure people that we'd never recommend that. It's really the 30% that we're looking at, but we haven't yet defined the mix.
Jake Keating, Win News.
South Coast dairy farmers say they're still being milked dry 12 months after farmgate milk prices were slashed by Murray Goulburn. Some farmers have recovered, but the industry remains clouded with uncertainty.
It's almost 12 months to the day since dairy giant Murray Goulburn dealt one of the largest cuts to its farmgate milk price. Suppliers say not much has changed, apart from production costs going through the roof.
Our challenge is obviously to produce the milk at the cheapest price, and when we're not getting paid that much for it, it still is a bit hard.
There's been some relief since last year's opening price of 46.7 cents a litre, climbing almost 3 cents, but that's still less than half of the initial cuts passed down to farmers.
It's all about price, and if they can't deliver the price, well then that's the bottom line about everything.
There's a much closer eye being kept on processors following an industry ACCC investigation. Included in that is a voluntary code of conduct.
It'll add to certainly some greater information and communication between farmers and processors, which sadly brought about a lot of what's happened in the last 12 months.
It was described by some as the darkest period dairy had ever seen, and now there's fears the industry may never recover.
Things go up and down. The industry's been on lows before and they've come out of it, but this is probably a little bit different in that, it's still the uncertainty.
It's a very difficult time. We're a bit better than cost of production, but not a lot better. So we just don't need any more surprises.
Jake Keating, Win News.
Illawarra families with a child suffering a rare and shocking skin condition have spoken out about their experiences. It comes as a South Australian man has left his job and sold the family home in a bid to raise vital funds for an incurable disease by running across the country.
12-year-old Billy can't play like the other kids at school. Every bump and knock leaves him covered in blisters because of his incredibly delicate skin.
Really big blisters, or it just, peels off, or it's just a really, really horrible disease.
Billy has a rare, painful and incurable disease, epidermolysis bullosa or EB. Sadly, the family's already lost a child to the condition.
Breaks my heart to know there's this disease that there can't be any cure, and losing a son to it is just, it's devastating.
Andrew Bishak is on a mission to help EB patients, setting out on a run across the nation to raise vital funds and awareness.
A lot of people definitely think I'm crazy. It's a pretty common response when they first hear what I'm doing. Look, I met a butterfly child 5 years ago. It's one of the most visually shocking diseases you'll see.
The North family are also battling the condition. 3-year-old Kai is struggling to learn to walk because of the constant painful blisters on his hands and feet.
Hopefully one day the research will be up there and one day there'll be a cure for it, or some sort of treatment that can at least settle it down so it can make his skin a little bit stronger so he can, live a normal life.
To show your support, visit the website. Caitlin Dugan, Win News.
Coming up next on Win News, the dogs driving neighbours crazy, and the University of Wollongong opens up a whole new world. Welcome back. A man's best friend can be a neighbour's worst enemy, with barking dogs one of the biggest complaints to Wollongong Council. But before neighbourhood battles turn heated and costly, lawyers say an honest chat about a disturbing dog should be the first step.
Without peace due to a barking dog, many neighbours have lashed out.
Hosing the dog next door, by throwing paint over the dog, by tormenting the dog.
The disputes can quickly escalate.
At the beginning of 2016, where the bloke actually shot his neighbour because his dog was driving him nuts.
About 49% of our calls this year have been for barking dogs, so it's a really huge problem.
People nowadays are actually having dogs instead of children. It is natural for dogs to bark, but it doesn't mean that they have to. It can be educated.
And that means getting the pet to feel less anxious about being home on its own.
Any dog can learn, it doesn't matter how old. Even 10-year-old dogs can learn to relax.
While those affected can use devices such as ultrasonic inhibitors and anti-bark collars, they're not recommended.
Appropriate barking is going to get punished as well. And there are times when a dog should bark, you know, if there's an intruder in the house or there's some danger.
Lawyer Christopher Adams wishes his neighbours spoke to him first before contacting council and receiving a letter threatening a fine.
Winston, the whippet. And when we were home, he was the perfect dog. He was quiet, he was gentle, he'd play with the kids, he didn't make any noise.
But as soon as the family left, Winston barked all day and was eventually rehomed.
It's the biggest area of ratepayers' complaints to councils is from barking dogs.
If you're struggling with the noise and you want to move forward, you have to diarise the barking. And while you can use a camera, there are some issues around privacy.
You aren't allowed to film anyone in a private act, which means if they're undressed or they're getting dressed or through their window.
Chris's 3 tips for dealing with a noisy dog are: approach the pet's owner and have an honest conversation. If there's no resolution, record the incidents and seek free help from your local community or neighbourhood justice centre. Finally, contact council and seek their help. Bruce Roberts, Win News.
People with cognitive and physical impairments can now experience things in a completely different way with the opening of Illawarra's first multi-sensory room. Carers say it'll make the world of difference to their loved ones.
Interacting with music and lights, the Community Careway's sensory room serves a very important purpose. And for Kylie Ema and her sons, it's sure to make a huge difference.
Part of helping them to regulate and function in our world is for them to be able to get their sensory needs met, and a room like this is just awesome.
11-year-old Isaiah has autism. Today he was given the chance to explore the room for the first time, and the air piano quickly became his favourite feature.
Because it feels like I'm playing an actual piano without wanting or looking like I am.
This will be the first multi-sensory environment in the Illawarra open to the public, offering a safe and engaging space for people with cognitive, behavioural and physical impairments.
The most exciting thing is that as you enter the room or as you go in the room, it's entirely up to yourself how you use it.
While the room doesn't officially open until Monday, the sensory experience is already proving to be effective.
It's just a great way for me to calm down.
The space can be found at the Horsley Community Centre and will be available to the community 24/7. Hannah Laxton-Kuntz, Win News.
A small Illawarra school has a big fundraising dream. Mount Kira Demonstration School has less than 100 students, but it hopes to improve on its outdoor spaces for the kids. A community tasting was held to showcase recipes from the school's new fundraising cookbook. The cookbook of Sandstone and Pine has been compiled over 12 months, with each recipe carefully selected and tested by families, staff and students.
There's lots of different types of food and it's really nice.
Yeah, the kids love it. You can see the excitement behind me. They want to taste all the food, of course, and they've probably been our best testers of the food.
All the money raised from the cookbook will be used to build play equipment and improve the spaces at the school. Sport is next with Jared Constable, and the Dragons re-sign another young gun, Jared.
Yes, Kurt Mann's on board until at least 2019, Amy, but now the question is, where will he play? Plus, the high-flying Roller Hawks set their sights on the Thunder. The Dragons have shown the strongest sign yet that Kurt Mann will fill the hole left by Josh Dugan when he departs for the Shire at the end of the season. Mann penned a new deal to stay in red and white until at least the end of 2019 as the club plans for the future, with Josh McCrone expected to depart the club for the Toronto Wolfpack.
Taking off to the Gold Coast this weekend, the Dragons fix-it man is staying put for the next 2 years.
There was a little bit of interest from other clubs in that, but you know, I don't think it was a tough decision at all. You know, Mary showed a lot of faith in me over the last couple of weeks, and especially this year.
Too good for coach Paul McGregor to overlook for tomorrow's game against the Titans. He's been named in the halves. His re-signing comes ahead of Ben Hunt's arrival at the club next year.
You know, Hunt coming in next year, he's obviously our number 7, and Gareth will be our number 6, but we haven't got a fullback at the moment. We've got a couple of young kids there. Kurt might want to revisit that.
Kurt says he's the man to fill the number 1.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think there's going to be an opportunity wherever, you know, because I can play a few different positions. So, you know, that was in the back of my mind as well.
McGregor will be spoilt for choice in the halves. Jay Fields coming into his own in the Intrust Super Premiership.
Yeah, starting to get a lot more
control over the side now. Now I've played some games, and it's good having Sean there as well. He's played a lot of cup games, so he's a calm head that helps me stay calm as well.
The Dragons welcome Jack de Bellin and Ewan Aiken back for tomorrow's game. Illawarra play 4th place Mounties in Canberra.
Now it's time to really start kicking on a bit and getting some wins. Mounties are going to be a tough side. They're not up there for no reason, so hopefully we start well like we did against them last time, and yeah, we can do the job.
West will be looking for a return to form against Berkeley this weekend after nearly 2 months without a win. The Red Devils are incensed after copping a 31-0 hiding from Dapto last start, their 3rd straight loss.
We didn't play till the final siren. That's how the scoreboard went to 31-0, which I don't think was a reflection of the game itself. But yeah, we are very angered about that.
On the flip side, Berkeley heads into the game after their first win for the season. Elsewhere, Helensburgh play Collies and Corrimal host Dapto. In Group 7, Jamberoo and Kiama play in the match of the round, and Milton Ulladulla will play in a commemorative jersey for its Indigenous round against Narrabomberry. The Wollongong Rollerhawks head to the City of Churches this weekend, praying to keep their 6-game unbeaten stretch intact against last-placed Adelaide. The Rollers haven't dropped a game since their round 2 triple header against Sydney Metro Blues. It's their only blemish in an otherwise perfect start to the season, and since then they've piled on 459 points, including 253 across their 3 wins against Queensland Spinners last weekend.
We found when we moved the ball in offence, it made it a lot easier on us. We got open shots and Orby got under the basket, and when Orby shot 75% for the whole weekend, so that makes a huge difference for us.
They play games on Saturday and Sunday. South Coast netballer Susan Pettit will make her international return in October, named in Australia's Constellation Cup side. Pettit was headhunted for the inaugural GWS Giants team that recently finished 2nd in the Super Netball season. She played in both the 2006 and 2010 Commonwealth Games, but was snubbed last time around. Australia will play 4 games against the New Zealand Silver Ferns. For this week's Football South Coast Juniors Corner, we take a look at the Tarrawanna Blueies, who celebrate 50 years of football this weekend. One team looking to give the club extra reason to celebrate.
Into the top 4 of the state, Tarrawanna's talking the talk.
We're all keen, definitely looking forward to it.
Feeling good, confident, just hopefully get the job done when it comes to the weekend.
Last year they finished the regular season first, made it all the way to the grand final before losing. Most of the squad's been retained and they've brought in a few fresh additions like Jackson Dent, who probably has a different view of last year's result.
It was pretty good slotting in because, you know, last year we beat them in the grand final, so it felt pretty easy coming into the team.
This weekend the side will play Kirrawee for a place in the State Cup final.
Yeah, pretty pumped up for this competition. I wouldn't have entered them into the comp if I didn't think they could win it. And out of our whole squad, I think we'll give it a good shake.
Football South Coast will be well represented in the semis, with 13 teams representing 10 clubs in action around the grounds. A win for the Blueies would be extra special. They celebrate their 50th birthday.
The club's a massive part of my my life, my family life. So for us to win something like that, or anything at all for Tarrawanna to win it in the 50th year would be great.
On Saturday night, the club will hold a gala dinner at Panorama House.
It's never been done before, so it'll be a big thing in the club's 50th year as well. And it'll be good for most of the boys because some of them have never been to State Cup before.
And Amy, that's all in sport.
Thanks very much, Jared. Have a great night. The weather is next with Tanya Dendrinos, and Tanya, the sun made a bit of an appearance today.
It did, Amy, making dawn quite spectacular, but will it be sticking around? We'll find out after the break. Hello again. As we approach the end of what's been a dry month, the Bureau says below average rainfall is likely to continue into the next few months with warmer than average temperatures. Damien turned his attention skyward to capture this incredible shot at Kiama Harbour. If you've taken a weather photo you'd like to see up on screen, you can email it through to weather@wintv.com.au. Let's have a look at the details from today. Winds reached 32 kilometres an hour in Bowral. It saw a low of -1 and climbed to legs 11. 17 was the high for Picton and 16 for Ulladulla. Taking a look at temperatures on the south coast, and it was another icy start in Bega, dropping to -1, top of 17 degrees and 18 the high for Merimbula and Eden. On the satellite, a cold front preceded by a cloud band of rain is crossing New South Wales today and will clear the northeast of the state tomorrow. On the synoptic, a low will develop within the front as it moves over the Tasman Sea, while a high pressure system will move over southeast Australia tomorrow behind the front. On the waters, partly cloudy tomorrow with a chance of showers offshore. Large and powerful surf conditions are expected to be hazardous for coastal activities, and there is a gale warning in place right down the coast. Taking a look at the forecast for the Illawarra and Southern Highlands, mostly sunny tomorrow. There will be some patches of light morning frost about the higher ground though. 2 tonight in Barrel, it's heading for a top of just 9 tomorrow, 15 the forecast top for Picton and 14 for Nowra. Taking a look at the south coast, partly cloudy with areas of morning frost inland and the slight chance of a shower near the border. Narooma will see a low of 7 and climb to a high of 14 degrees tomorrow, and Bega expecting a top of just 13, so quite chilly. For Wollongong, mostly sunny tomorrow. It's heading for a top of 14 after a low of 10. Sunrise will be at 7:02. Taking a look at the days ahead, mostly sunny on Saturday with some areas of morning frost inland, some fog and frost to start the day on Sunday, followed by sunshine, and partly cloudy on Monday with some possible showers. But don't let that daytime sunshine fool you over the weekend. It will be one of the coldest weekends of winter across the state when it comes to overnight temperatures, so time to rug up, Amy.
So time for a hot water bottle or an electric blanket. Thank you, Tanya. Now, with all the action from the ski fields, here's Zoe Fitzpatrick with this week's snow report.
Hey guys, I'm here in Thredbo where we've had some more beautiful weather. It's another great one to head out there for a shred. As you can see behind me, we've got some pretty good conditions for the start of the season. We've got some nice fresh cover thanks to over 180 guns pumping overnight. We've got 8 lifts running in Thredbo, and today is just another in the run of great mountain riding weather we've had this week. Temps have been getting nice and low, and the snow guns have been blasting every night to keep the cover fresh. Pick of the week has to be Ballroom and Walkabout up at the cruiser area. It's an awesome spot to head for a carve with the freshly groomed snow. For advanced riders, get excited for the opening of the Super Trail this Saturday. Over at Perisher, there are 14 lifts running. Mount Hotham and Falls Creek each have 5, Mount Buller has 4 and Selwyn has 1. Looking ahead, we've got snow showers in the forecast for early next week, our first significant snow of the season, topping up the cover just in time for the school holidays. In Thredbo, this is Zoe for Win News.
Recapping our top stories tonight, a Dapto teen who allegedly held a hunting knife to a man's throat has been released on bail to live at his mother's house. And Illawarra Coke has assured residents that there will be no more than 30% of housing in its plans to rezone the old Coal Cliff Coke Works. That is Win News for Thursday, June 29. To view some of our reports, you can visit the Win News Illawarra Facebook page. Join us again tomorrow for Win Local News at 6 o'clock, but stay with us now for the project. We leave you tonight with vision from the new sensory room at the University of Wollongong. I'm Amy Duggan. Enjoy your evening. Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.